can we expect the Attitude Era 2.0? Simple answer is Raw is finally going to Netflix, and I personally cannot wait. It's something that I am excited for. Now, what can we expect? Can we expect the Attitude Era 2.0? Simple answer is no. We can rule that out. I think that we can also rule out the Ruthless Aggression Era 2.0. These eras were kind of products of their time. There was a lot of change. The WWF had to adapt to compete with WCW for the Attitude Era, and it needed to kind of become a more graphic show, a more graphic product. Whereas the Ruthless Aggression Era, again, is a product of its time. There's still those themes, there's still bra and panties matches, which you're never going to see in this new era. They're also having to kind of incorporate these new WCW and ECW guys into this new WWE product after rebranding from WWF. So putting those expectations to rest, let's have a look at what we can expect. So let's start with production. What does production look like? So I don't think much will change in terms of what the product looks like. I think that we may get a new stage, and I'm not talking about a ramp, whereas a ramp is at the top of my wish list. I'm not entirely sure that they're going to go to using a ramp. I think that we'll just get a new stage with the Raw logo, and that's all that may change heading into this new era. Now, pyrotechnics. Are we going to get more pyros at the start of the show, during entrances? I'm not entirely sure that much is going to change on that front either. Where I think that we will see the main change is cinematography. We've already seen a change in cinematography as new camera angles have been added during matches, during entrances. What's something that they haven't really tapped into, which I think that we may see during the new era, is drones used. You're going to see drones used during entrances. You might get during a ladder match, you might get the Wile E. Coyote camera come back. I think it'll also be used in entrances where there's lots of fan engagement. Jey Uso's entrance being a prime example of where you can. But is there going to be more blading in this era? Obviously, blading became a thing that they tried to snuff out for a time period, and then it found its way back in. Now, I think blading's always good when you're in a feud. It helps to kind of convey that someone is beaten up. They've taken a beating, they're in danger, or it helps to convey that somebody is fighting back. Like Shawn Michaels used to blade, and I think if you have a look at his Survivor Series 2003 match, him bleeding conveys that he's in so much trouble in a 3-on-1 situation. Obviously gets it down to 1v1 and then loses. When it comes to blading, there's a fine line, isn't there? You want it to be able to convey that message, but you don't want a superstar to hurt themselves. Circa Eddie Guerrero 2004 Judgment Day. Moving on, let's talk about commentary teams. Now, what do I mean by commentary team? Do I mean a specific team on Raw? No. What I'm talking about is the language that they can use. And I think over the last 12 months, they've had a lot more freedom than what they had previously in the last 10, 12 years. And I think you're going to see that freedom blossom. Now, what's going to change? What can they say now what they couldn't say in the previous era? I think that the commentary team is going to get the freedom to call someone a piece of shit or a son of a bitch. And if you look back during the time period where Jim Ross was on commentary and Triple H would do something heelish, he'd call him a son of a bitch, and it conveyed the emotions that we felt as fans.
Come on, you son of a bitch! You son of a bitch! Don't you hit her! Don't you hit her! Triple H! Where did he come from? That son of a bitch! Does he have no conscience? Does he have no heart? Do you have no soul? You son of a bitch! Do you realize what you've just done?
And speaking about language, I think it will be something that you see in promos as wrestlers engage with each other. I think that they'll be allowed that freedom to swear. Now, why is that such a big thing? Some people will look at that and go, why do wrestlers need to cuss at each other? I think, again, it helps to kind of elevate the feud. It conveys the hatred that wrestlers have got with each other. There seems to be a line that wrestlers can't cross at the minute. Like, they can fight, they can make each other bleed, but God forbid that they swear at each other. That appears to be the line that they can't cross, is them swearing at each other. I think you get rid of that, they're allowed to call each other bitches, whatever. Obviously, there won't be F-bombs, etc. Match types. Are we going to see special matches on Raw? Yes. Now you've got Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa on Monday. No DQ match. I know they're calling it Tribal Warfare, but it's going to be a no DQ match. And I think that the means to go on is that you're going to get steel cage matches, you'll get ladder matches, you'll get no DQ matches on Raw. Another reason for this is that the Raw roster is going to be more packed. And when you have a look at PLEs, you've also got SmackDown to consider here. And with Triple H's current booking, there seems to be 5 matches, and that's the maximum that's on a card. There's so many matches that can't happen on a PLE for that reason, that can happen on a Raw now going forward. You're going to get ladder matches, you'll get steel cage matches to help elevate a feud, potentially end a feud. And that's the best way to utilise this massive roster that you've got full of talent. Let's talk about championships. Now, there's probably more championships up for grabs in the current era than we've ever had. So what does that mean? Again, you go back to PLEs only having 5 matches, and that's including SmackDown. You're going to get more title defences on your weekly shows. What draws more eyes onto a match? You throw in a championship. You put the title on the line. This was a staple during the 2 eras that I mentioned before, your Attitude Era and your Ruthless Aggression Era. And it's not a bad thing. That isn't part of the product of the time. It's just good entertainment. It's good storytelling. It's something that people like to see. It gives the live audience something to get invested in. So to sum up, what will this new era look like? Well, for me, I think you're going to get new cinematography, you're going to get camera angles from matches and entrances that you've never had access to before. The language used is going to be more adult themed, where it needs to be. You're going to get bleeding more frequently than what we currently have. You're going to have more title defenses, you're going to have more championship matches, you're going to get more variety of matches, you're going to get different match types. Overall, this new era is something that you've not seen, I've not seen. It's all guesswork at the minute. But we won't know what this new era looks like until we tune into it, which is exactly what we're going to do live next Monday. So feel free to come and join us, feel free to like the video, drop a subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.